If there's one thing that I have learned from being a medical biller all of these years, it's that medical billing does not look the same for everyone. I have been a medical biller for close to 20 years now. I have my own medical billing business, and the clients that I have had in my medical billing business have not been the same. Not one of them. Today I'm going to talk about 3 reasons why medical billing does not look the same for everybody. I think this will give you an idea of how clients can be, how things can be different, and how you have to take what I tell you, what other medical billers tell you, with a grain of salt. Because when you actually get in the position as a medical biller, or you have your own medical billing business and you're dealing with different clients, you have to be open to things not looking exactly the way you think they're going to look, because everyone says it's so easy, or you can do it this way or that way. Thanks for sticking around. My name is Tamika. I'm a certified professional biller, a certified professional practice manager. I have my own medical billing business while I work full-time as a medical biller. Now, here are the 3 reasons why medical billing does not look the same for everyone. And the first one is the specialty. So if you are doing medical billing, you most likely are doing some type of specialty. It can be one specialty, it can be multi-specialties. And one specialty may be more difficult than another. It can be difficult because you don't know the specialty, or it can be difficult just because the specialty have a lot of nuances and things that you need to know about it. Maybe it might have a lot of diagnosis, a lot of CPT codes. There are some specialties that may have a few CPT codes, that's the procedure codes or what's being done, and a few diagnosis codes. So you can probably write it down on 1 or 2 pages and you'll be fine. Then there are some specialties that use a lot of different CPT codes, diagnosis codes. It might use a lot more sections in those books, and they can be a lot harder or more difficult. Again, if you already know the specialty, if you are in it deep, you've been doing it for a while, it may come easy to you. But if you are just starting out, this is a new client that you had, you said, I'm going to try cardiology, it might not be the same as if you're billing for a mental health provider. Or you might bill for a mental health provider and you find that to be difficult because there are certain diagnoses or certain, pre-authorizations or whatever that you need to do your billing and get paid. So that is one of the things. When it comes to payers for different specialties, a payer may require a lot more to get paid for a particular procedure. That can also be a reason why medical billing doesn't look the same for you as it does for me. If I am billing, let's say, mental health, but I am only billing, Cigna for mental health, and you are billing mental health, but you're billing Blue Cross, and Blue Cross, requires a lot more when it comes to mental health billing than Cigna. So our billing might look different. I might be having a hard time or not having a hard time, and you're having a hard time. So you have to keep in mind that depending on the specialty that you are in medical billing, how much you know about it, how much you're willing to learn about it, this is going to determine whether or not it looks the same for you or for me. I find, personally, OBGYN to be a specialty that I love. I've been doing it for years, and, I love it. I don't necessarily find it hard to do. There are some nuances here and there, stuff that I have to look up. I still have to research things. New things are coming out, CPT codes, diagnosis, all of those things. But for the most part, I am cool with it. I can do OBGYN billing forever. But I have spoken to another medical biller and I told her that I am an OBGYN biller, and she was like, I cannot deal with that. I do not like OBGYN billing. It's too much this, it's too much that. And she is in primary care billing. Now, I have never billed for a primary care provider before, but I would think that that can be pretty intense, because when you go in for primary care, you're going in for a lot of different things. Some primary care doctors even do pap smears. So there are a lot of areas that you need to know. but she liked that, and I like OBGYN billing. So just keep that in mind when you are choosing a client to work for in your billing business, to know that if you have been only dealing with a specific specialty and now you're moving to something different, there is a learning curve. You're probably going to have to try and figure that out. It might be harder or it might be easier, but you need to keep an open mind that that billing might not look the same as all the other billing that you have done, just because of the specialty. Then the provider can be a reason why medical billing does not look the same for everyone. Now, people are people. People have different personalities. Providers have different personalities. So I have dealt with providers who have been, really on top of you, always want to know what you're doing, always questioning you, looking at every little thing that you do. If this is denied, why is denied? And they're on top of it before you can even figure it out. Then I have dealt with providers who are a little bit more, laid back, nonchalant. If there's something that's not paid, they're not all, oh, well, get it paid, even if it's not, if it's, let's say, it's not getting paid because it was unbundled and it was supposed to be bundled. And so you don't get paid for a particular thing because that code, it's not going to be paid because it's supposed to be bundled. They'll be like, well, figure out how to get it paid. And they're not like that. They're like, oh, okay, cool, I understand. And they kind of move on. So you're going to find providers who have different personalities. Number one, which is going to be a big thing. You're going to have to learn how to deal with different personalities. And as you grow in your medical billing business, you will kind of pick up on those personalities early out. Maybe when you're new and you're just starting out with your medical billing business, you might can't pick up on that. You kind of just want a provider. You will deal with anything, so you think. But as you get into your medical billing business, you might start to choose what type of providers you want. You might like this one over that one and decide to do that. Then there are providers who know more than others. So providers do not go to school to learn medical billing. That is not what they go to school for. They know about diagnosis and procedures and what to do and how to care for the patients. But when it comes to medical billing, they're not taught that in school. There are some providers, however, who have taken it a step further and who have maybe gone to a medical billing class or, start to learn different things about billing because they want to be involved in the billing process. And I always applaud that, because when a provider can know what to do when it comes to billing, that can help you out, in a way greatly. So your provider may be one who knows nothing about billing, and so they're doing all types of weird stuff, and you're all confused because you're new as well, and you want to know what's going on. That can be an issue if a provider doesn't know anything about billing. One thing that I've also figured out is that there are some providers who know the difference between billers and coders. Then there are a lot of providers who don't know the difference between billers and coders. And there is a difference. I'll link a video somewhere explaining, medical billing and medical coding, but there is a difference. And so they might not know the difference between a medical biller and coder, and they're expecting that you do certain things that a coder is supposed to do, or, that is not in the scope of a biller. And some providers know this, some don't. So if you have gotten lucky and you are with a provider for your first time and they know a lot about billing, they know a lot about coding, they know a lot about all of that, you may think that that is the norm. And then you get another client and that client knows nothing about billing. And so they then are expecting things that's not, again, in your scope of work, because they don't really know the difference between, billers and coders and credentialers and all of that stuff. So just, again, keep that in mind. That may be a reason why your experience doesn't look the same as my experience. And you would have to know how to deal with that if that's something that you want to deal with or something you don't want to deal with. And you would have to let the provider know that so that they can then be clear about what you're going to do, what they're expecting for you to do, and what they're not expecting for you to do. I just sat with a provider who wants me to do some billing work for her. And she said something to me like she has a billing company who does, certain parts of the billing, but she feels like they should be doing more. Now, it kind of made me click and think about this video that I was doing, because see, that provider already has in mind what they think that billers should do. And they think that all billers should do this certain thing. But again, that is not true, because like I explained to her, some billing companies do this, some billing companies do that. Some billing companies can do accounting. Billing companies can do whatever they want to do. And so you can't just basically put all billers in a box and expect them to do something or not do something, because that's not how it is. At my 9-to-5 job, when I was working, in my 9-to-5 job before, I was the biller and I was the bookkeeper. And in that, I kind of was confused, especially because I was new to it. It was, something that I didn't know much about at the beginning. I thought that was a part of billing. I thought, doing QuickBooks and putting in doing checks, all that stuff, I thought it was a part of billing. But when I started to look more and deeply into it, it's not. That's bookkeeping. This is medical billing. But sometimes a lot of small practices have the biller do the bookkeeping. And so it's easy to think that that's a part of the job, but it's really not. And I don't want you to forget about our medical billing store, where we have all things medical billing as far as merchandise is concerned. We have shirts, cups, pillows, notebooks. Like, there are many things there specifically for medical billers. And here is one of the shirts that I have. It says, "I'm a medical biller." What better thing that you can wear that can help you get marketing for your medical billing business? So check it out. I'll leave the link on the screen, and be sure to get something. I'm going to be dropping new designs hopefully every month. And if there's something that you want to see, maybe a mouse pad or I don't know, sticky pads, whatever it is, let me know, because I made this shop specifically for us medical billers, not medical coders, not healthcare professionals in general, for medical billers, because there are a lot of medical billers out there. I don't know if you know, but there are. So make sure you copy your t-shirt. Check out the new design that I have just released this month. And I'm hoping to see you rock some of the shirts, drink out of the teacups, get some of the notebooks. Check it out. And the last reason why medical billing doesn't look the same for everyone is because of the duties. Now, this one I kind of alluded to in the second one, but this one is a really big one. Not all medical billers do the same thing. Now, I work in private practice. I don't work in a hospital. But as far as hospitals are concerned, most of the time when you're a medical biller, you have a specific job. Like, there's one specific job that you have, because there are so many people who are at the hospital, and you can probably only handle this one duty. In private practice, however, you can have several duties, especially if it's a small private practice. So you might be doing the full revenue cycle, from claim submission to patient statement, or you might be doing a la carte. I think that's how they say it, where maybe you're just doing payment posting, or maybe you're doing accounts receivable, or again, maybe they're adding on other duties that have nothing to do with billing in your scope of duties. So it may not look the same for you as it does for me. And even in your medical billing business, especially if you don't have a straightforward set of things that you're doing for the provider, you may be doing different things for each client. So I have a client that I do the full revenue cycle for, as far as claim submission to patient statements. Then I have another client that they have someone doing the billing, but I'm basically the follow-up guy or the fallback guy, when things are rejected, when things are denied, fee schedules, fixing certain things, that I deal with that. So I'm not doing the full revenue cycle. Now, you don't have to do that in your medical billing business. You could say, well, I'm going to do the full revenue cycle, or I'm going to do And, not necessarily the full revenue cycle, the full medical billing cycle, because the full revenue cycle starts from the beginning when you're doing, the pre-appointments and stuff like that. But if you decide to do that in your billing business, you can, but you may not. So again, it will look different. Also, with the provider that I spoke about earlier, she wanted the billing company to do eligibility and pre-authorizations. And so I let her know that I don't do that. Now, I think she thought that that was something that billers should do. Again, not always the case. So just remember that there are many different types of billers, and medical billing looks different for everyone in their medical billing business. So be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about setting boundaries in your medical billing business. And I'll see you in my next one.